So here, a week later, we are back to my studio and I'm showing you a progress that I made this week. So this painting of the angel, I think is almost done. I'm pretty happy. What I did do this week is I went back to his eyes and I took away the dark outline. I repainted the face with more light, brought back the blue color, kind of a representing piece of his wing, and then a light behind it, took out the blue background and broke his hair with the background, and I think that gave a little bit more movement to the painting. And then on this painting, completely repainted the background and connected all the elements. I still have to go back and repaint the hand and resolve some smaller areas and mainly decide whether I want a separation between the floor and the wall, or I just leave that kind of a more of a soft, blurry suggestion of separation. The biggest change I've done is on this painting. Besides painting more on the flowers and finishing them up, I completely changed the background, going much lighter, more color, and that triggered changing the bottle into the blue, getting rid of that strong yellow green. And I like it better. It was a tough decisions because I really do love dramatic light and dark, and that just became more about the juxtaposition of pink and blues, more about color rather than a light. And I've left some flowers that more dissolved and painted in a much looser fashion, and some flowers that are much tighter, and I think that gives also an interest. So, and then of course this smaller collection of still lifes that I'm gonna bring to the show, I think is almost done as well. So there is one more painting that I'm very much in the process of finishing. This is the most undone piece, but you can see how I am darkening the background, and then now I just have to resolve all this multiplicity of petals, obscure more of them, darken more of them, and then bring the flow of light. This is my last update for this painting today. I have to finish it because it still needs to dry, and alizarin crimson, which I'm using for background, tends to dry kind of slowly. The problem that I see with this painting right now, that is not integrating the foreground into the background. The figure stands out very much on its own. It's problem of the right value relationship. So she's very light. Maybe I'll darken her shadow shapes and help to lose some of the edges, and also giving her a little bit more painterly quality, even though the sculpture tends to be very smooth and polished stone. I still would like to see more contrast between the thinner paint and the thicker paint. And so this is after a day of work. The painting is finished. I completely repainted the figurine, giving more light, softening some of the edges, changing the coloration from very warm on the head with some cools. As the body moves down, it becomes more lit up and cooler in temperature. And then of course finishing the background. Now you can see layers of petals going into the depth of the painting and coming out towards the viewer and the figure. And I let some of the petals fly over the figure, for some leaving a faint cast shadow to show their proximity. The most interesting part for me was to discover the way to paint petals by painting a thin layer of alizarin first, then cutting out some petals, and about 3 different days where I went with the same process, gradually darkening some petals and bringing others forward by painting them lighter. Thank you so much.